For you, you're like, well, this doesn't even seem real, but it's like, yeah, no.
No, I'm not talking about being real. Some of this can be real or not. It's just dumb.
So are you saying I'm dumb?
Uh, Hey man, it's one of those positions where no matter what I say, if I get defensive, it's gonna be what you want to hear. So if you see yourself as dumb, I don't know what to tell you because I didn't say that.
That's what I hear you saying. Go ahead.
Well, brother, I don't know what to do there because no matter what I say after this point, you're gonna hear me saying, "Bart, you stupid." So I didn't say that, but if that's what you hear, I apologize. Hey everyone, Double Toasted live in Las Vegas is coming up very soon, October 8th. Join us for a night of comedy, music, games, and a big after party. This is going to be our first time doing a show in Las Vegas, so it's going to be a very special night for us, and we want to share it with you. And if you've never been to a Double Toasted show, ask anybody. It's tons of fun. It's just like one big party that we're sharing with friends. And like I said, we want you to be there. So go get your tickets now by going to x1entertainment.com. I tell you, I'm just reviewing this pretty much because it's the #1 movie on Netflix, and it has 2 huge celebrities in it. So I'm sure people are going to be looking at this and maybe talking about this, and it'll be trending for a little while. And that movie is Me Time on Netflix. This stars KEVIN Hart. That's one of the big names you have in this movie. As I said, KEVIN Hart is something, everybody's watching it, so I thought that'd be a good reason to review this. In this movie, he plays a guy named Sonny Fisher. And Sonny Fisher is a stay-at-home dad, which is interpreted in this movie as pretty much a bitch. This dude is, it tries to be progressive, but it pretty much tells you, if you a stay-at-home dad, you ain't shit. Your woman earning the money, you ain't shit. But that does not let him stop him from doing what he has to do, getting the kids ready for school, being over the talent show, being involved in all the activities at said kids' school. Everything is going great until his buddy shows up, a guy named Huck Dumbo or Dumbass or whatever.
Himbo.
Duck Himbo, okay. Huck Dumb. Anyway, it don't even matter. The name Huck, first of all, he is a dumbass. The name Huck is just for a bunch of puns that rhyme with the word fuckingness. And his friend, which is appropriate because his friend is pretty much a fuck up. This guy has not been able to grow up at all over the years. Just a big old man child. Has his 44th birthday coming up, but still hangs out with nothing. Ain't nothing wrong with this. I do the same thing, but hangs out with nothing but Gen Z people. And now he wants his friend Sonny to come up and celebrate his 44th birthday with all these kids, which normally would be fun. Shouldn't be anything wrong with that, but first of all, Sonny is clearly making it known that I'm at a different level in life than you are. I'm a stay-at-home dad. I'm not as free-spirited as you are. But then the wife tells him that, you know what? You spend too much time with the kids to the point where it's getting a little weird now. I got shit that I got to do and you're always on my ass about it. You're being very paranoid about things at my job that aren't even probably happening. Go and hang out with this man, if for nothing else, just to get out of our lives. Lives meaning the wife and these kids. Leave us for a little while. Go do your thing with your best friend from a long time ago, and when you come back, maybe, just maybe, you'll have a whole new attitude on life. If nothing else, you'll just be refreshed and back to coming home and being the bitch that you were. Out of all of this, though, I'm telling you this, that's not even the main part of the story. There's a whole lot of shit going on in this movie that I can't even touch on right now, which I will in a little bit. All coming together to mean some message about friendship and life or whatever. And anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at this trailer for for Me Time with, what's the name? KEVIN Hart and Mark Whalberg, and we will be back with our review.
Sit down. Trying to eat me.
Okay, that shit was funny. I ain't gonna lie. When he threw that cat. That is actually a genuinely funny part. He said, fuck this cat.
I love you, Huck. I love you,
Well, they almost showed us the whole movie.
Yeah. Let me just start out by saying this, man. A lot of people talking about Netflix is in trouble. They ain't reporting their income. Netflix losing money. Netflix is fine. Netflix got plenty of money. This movie is evidence that Netflix got too much goddamn money. Because they just give celebrities money to just simply fuck around. Like, it's like because they know there's nothing else for these people to do here. There was no story, there's no script or nothing. They just gave them money to just make up. They almost feel like they just making up shit as they go along. But I'm gonna tell you, Netflix is not even the real problem, because Netflix will cancel something in a minute if it ain't pulling its weight, or they'll bury something. Shit, something might be number one. They'll just move it down just to get it out the way if it's not performing like they think it should.
True.
You know, celebrity recognition is not helping here. You know, as I said, we got two big names right here. We got Kevin Hart and Mark Whalberg, two big box office draws. Now streaming draws, I guess. But, you know, celebrity recognition is strong here, especially with Kevin Hart. You know, for all of Kevin Hart talking about his brand, my brand is all about my brand, my branding. You know, hey, listen, that brand is working. I'll tell you that much. I got to give him credit. His brand is strong because people will show up to watch him do the dumbest shit. And he does a lot of dumb shit in this movie, believe me. And that's still not the problem with this movie. It's not Netflix. It ain't Kevin Hart or Mark Whalberg. That's the problem right here. My main problem is not even the dumb shit that they do in this movie. That's not it at all. The thing, my main problem with this movie right here is that it's random dumb shit. You know, I maybe it's a personal preference, but I like my dumb shit with just a little bit of order. I know it's dumb, I know it's shit, but I would like just a little bit of order, a little bit of organization with it. You're not having that here, man. There's another movie that feels random because they don't have a story. They got a lot of subplots to fill time and to fill space, but a coherent story that they ain't got that. They got those celebrity names, and that's all that they need. They got Kevin Hart running around like a damn fool. That's all that they need. You know, this was Untitled Heart Project. Untitled Kevin Hart Project was a thing before they had a script with this. I'm sure somebody went over to Netflix and said, so this Kevin Hart, Mark Whalberg movie that we got going on right here, what do you want it to be about? And Netflix looked at them and said, I don't care. You know, I don't care what you do. Make it an hour and 30 minutes. Make it cheap, relatively cheap. And just throw a bunch of dumb shit in there that people like to see Kevin Hart do. And that's what they went by. Are we good? Anything else? You got your criteria to go by? Go make that movie. There's nothing else going on in this film besides these two guys getting together and doing a bunch of random shit. Go ahead, y'all. I'll pass it off to you.
Yeah, it's the kind of movie Kevin Hart makes a lot of those kind of movies that feel random, and it's not so much it's ad lib. I mean, that's in there, but it feels like just structurally they're ad libbed, you know, putting things together. And usually there's a lot of screaming and yelling and pratfalls. And I'm just so used to that. And with the way this started, because they show the trailer out of order, it's them jumping off the cliffs in those flying squirrel suits.
Yeah, that's how it started.
Yeah, and it's a real bad effect, and it's just goofy, and it's the kind of like, okay, you know, Kevin Hart makes a lot of obnoxious movies like this, so strap in, get ready for it. And yeah, so it kind of surprised me that after that, I was like, you know what? This is actually not so obnoxious anymore. As a matter of fact, I kind of identify with it. I mean, I get somebody not liking it, and I don't even think it's a good movie, but so much because, and you know, a lot of times it comes from your perspective, because for a couple of years I was a stay-home dad, and then even after I went back to working. Both me and my wife are working, and she's more professional than I. But I got involved with the school and made friends with the other parents to the point that I'm still friends with them long after my kids aren't anymore. And there's a lot of that before he gets hooked up with Mark Wahlberg, I was like, this is touching on a lot of stuff that's actually funny because it's true.
Yeah, well, Martin, it might be true for you, but I didn't find none of it funny. I'm just,
no, that was my statement. It's like, because of my perspective, I found it funny, but I get that, like, for you, you're like, well, this doesn't even seem real, but it's like, yeah, no, it's actually pretty accurate.
No, it's not. No. I'm not talking about being real. Some of this can be real or not. It's just fucking dumb. And again, it goes back to, it's not even that I don't like it because it's dumb. What's that?
What's are you saying? I'm dumb.
Hey man, it's one of those positions where no matter what I say, if I get defensive, it's gonna be what you want to hear. So if you see yourself as dumb, I don't know what to tell you because I didn't say that.
That's what I hear you saying. Go ahead.
Well, brother, I don't know what to do there because no matter what I say after this point, you're gonna hear me saying, "Bart, you stupid." So I didn't say that. But if that's what you hear, I apologize. Hey, maybe I could be your Mark Wahlberg. I don't know.
Well, in some ways, you are. You were. There was even some points I was like, yeah, before you got married, that was kind of you.
Oh shit, Martin. You know what?
You didn't see yourself in Mark Whalberg, Korey?
Oh shit. You know what, Martin? Now that I look at it, damn. You know what? This movie just it got a whole lot better. Well, shit, now that you put it that way.
You don't see yourself in him?
Well, now that Martin puts it that way, yeah, I do. Well, shit, the way both y'all are coming at me, I got no choice now, do I? Sit up there, my ass out. No, listen, it has nothing to do with. I get if you relate to it, and that's cool. And in fact, I'm glad you found something to relate to in this movie. Maybe that's the key to it. Maybe if you see yourself in the film. Apparently it's not working for me as well, but you see yourself in the film, then maybe that's a different thing. But it's just too much. See, here's the thing. It's one of those movies that knows that it has nothing. When I say nothing, it has no structure or no script to go by. And when it knows that it has nothing, it tries to do everything. It's supposed to be about men at two extremes of their life. One over domesticated and the other kind of an aimless man child. And they're trying to learn how to reconnect and find some sort of balance, and get back to where they were, that relationship they had a long time ago, and I get that. But this movie, it's like a child with ADD, man. They're so desperate for laughs, this movie, and they're bouncing all over the place that they forget what the fuck they were even talking about. I'll give an example, again, I'm sure someone went to Netflix and they said, all right, you said do anything, but let me just run some ideas by you. I wrote a list of all the different, because I told you this movie's nothing but a bunch of subplots. I wrote all of these different subplots down that they have. And I'm sure somebody went to Netflix and said, hey, just some ideas, go and pick anything that you like. I'm gonna read some of these subplots to you. Kevin Hart and Mark Whalberg try to relive their old best friend days through Mark's birthday, right? We saw that. Kevin gets into a rivalry with his wife's boss. Kevin helps Mark pay back a dangerous loan shark. Kevin pushes his son to play in the school talent show, putting a rift in their relationship. Kevin gets in a wacky road trip adventure with Mark's Gen Z friends. Kevin and Mark have to save a turtle that they almost kill. We got more, but do any of those appeal to you? And Netflix said, yeah, all of them. Put all that shit in there. It sounds good to me. Don't give a fuck. All those random subplots going on. 40 minutes into this movie, I was even like, what is this about? I had no clue what was going on because, whatever premise that they showed you or sold you in the trailer, we do everything but that. It's supposed to be, like I said, about these guys reconnecting. It's about 35 minutes into the movie before we even see Mark Wahlberg again. It's not. I just think it's kind of aimless, and dumb shit shouldn't have to come at the price of dignity, man. Or at least, full dignity.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Listen, we all do dumb things for a laugh. I get it. Comedians, that's what they do. If you're a comedian, you're going to go out there and do something dumb just for a laugh. Maybe you're a comedian that started early, and you're doing a lot of dumb shit just to pay your dues. But Kevin Hart got money, man. Kevin Hart got money, and I think it's great that he has that sense of humor to where he doesn't mind being the butt of a joke. But he shouldn't have to pimp out his dignity to this level that he's doing in this movie right here. At least, listen, I'm not even trying to make fun of the man. I'm not trying to say he shouldn't do. Look, you do what you do for your career. Obviously, this man is making way more money doing dumb shit. I have made a career out of doing insane dumb things, and I don't make nearly half the money that this man does for some of the dumb shit that he does here. But he shouldn't have to pimp out his dignity to this level, I think. And it's funny because Mark Whalberg, and we saw it right here. They digitized it out, but he pulling a Thor right here. It's funny because Mark Whalberg, he does a full nude butt shot in the movie, but it's Kevin Hart that's showing his ass through most of this film right here. I'm not saying that, again, not looking down on his brand of comedy or whatever he does, but they court gestured this motherfucker, man, in this movie right here. It's almost like a game of let's see what degrading thing that we can do to Kevin Hart next. Let's play a game of what's the dumb shit that Kevin Hart will do next. Again, I made a list. Some of this shit you saw in the trailer right here. I'm taking receipts, all of them. I'm taking tabs. I'm not letting this go. You saw some of this in the trailer, man. Like, again, a lot of stuff happens before Mark Whalberg even enters. Like you saw in the trailer where my man goes to eat barbecue someplace and ends up just projectile vomiting on everybody.
You good, bro? Yeah, I'm all right.
He's doing all that because, hey, he's too stupid to know when to stop eating. But it goes on from there. He gets caught jacking off by his daughter. He gets mouth to mouth to a turtle later on in the movie, where they even talk about he got turtle boogers in his mouth. If you love Kevin Hart shit jokes, oh, you in for a bonus right here, boy. Because I think you get a couple of them. There's one where he's shitting on a bucket, getting attacked by a cougar, and there's another one where he goes and just pulls an Amber Heard on somebody's bed. Or he puts a little turtle on somebody's head. There's another part where he's in somebody's kitchen, rubbing several utensils in his ass, and all of that is topped off by. Hey, listen, we've gone that far. All of that's topped off by a nice long fart later on in the film. Again.
He hate them fart jokes.
I don't hate fart jokes. I actually like fart jokes, but again, if shit is just there to be there, because you don't have a solid joke, you don't have any good writing, then yeah, I might be a little harsh on you, man. As I said, the movie can't wait to make Kevin Hart look like an idiot. The beginning of the movie, you saw where he was diving off that cliff, got hit in the face with a bird.
You're my best friend. I love you, Huck. I love that you trying to get to.
I mean, the good thing about that is that it sets you up for what you're into. You know what I mean? I give it to Martin. If you see that, and you say, I'm going to stick around for the next hour and 29 minutes, that's on you. They told you. They told you in the beginning what you were getting into, man. I do admire that they have him do so much silly shit that they combine it. Like I said, they had that scene with the tiger, where he's shitting on a bucket and getting attacked by a cougar. So, hey, look, efficiency, for the movie, I guess that's one thing. And it was funny when he threw that tiger, man. I did laugh at some things here. So I'm not going to sit up here and act like I'm too good to laugh at some things. I told you, I don't mind dumb things. I don't mind silly things. I don't mind nasty things. It's just if it's clever, or if the joke is written well, or if it's executed well, I like it. Like when he threw that little tiger cub, man, that caught me off guard, and I laughed my ass off hard at that. And this is where I stop and pause, but I want to go on that long because, as you can see, that pretty much scene sums up the movie, where it's just Kevin Hart flailing. If he ain't shitting on somebody's bed or sticking things up his ass, he just running around flailing. And that's what I meant by, you know, being degrading, court gesturing his ass. That's what the movie, you know, because he's short and he's black, you know, they take advantage of that and they just have him running around screaming and hollering. Keep in mind that Mark Whalberg is the dumb one here in the movie. And they don't have him doing any of that shit at all. None. The closest they get to him even being on that level, I think they go and they piss in a movie. They piss in a pool together, which that's even a problem for in the movie that I'll tell you about what they're doing as far as you see what they're doing right there. But Mark Whalberg, you know, he's supposed to be the stupid one. He's supposed to be the man child. He's supposed to be the dumb one. They don't have him doing any of that shit at all. You know, so I don't know, man. You know, it just goes to show you that they're just going purely by physicality for lame jokes right here, instead of like actually trying to work towards something, even being consistent with a character. But, you know, anyway, y'all go ahead.
Well, Julian, I talked.
No, I mean, I've only seen 30 minutes of the movie.
Oh,
But I
okay.
mean, but I was going to say that, like, that's Kevin Hart in every movie.
Yeah,
that he's in.
exactly.
I was like, I don't know. I can't really see your point there.
But
Yeah.
no, you know what? Don't even do that, Julian, because Julian he's the one that called me up and be like, man, I'm watching this. This shit is terrible. This shit is stupid.
No, okay. I was watching it and I got distracted.
Okay, all right. Don't act like I'm saying crazy right here now, because Julian called me up to say, man, you gonna review that Kevin Hart shit? Man, I'm watching this shit. This shit is stupid. Yeah, don't you dare sit up here and do that shit.
I was saying, yeah, I was like, it's stupid, but I'm so used to it. I'm used to Kevin Hart acting like this, doing dumb stuff in these movies. I'm used to people saying hella short jokes about Kevin Hart. Like, I'm used to all that.
Yeah. Well, this is par for the course. And even with those, I was like, I can't say I like shit or fart jokes, but these aren't as obnoxious as most of the ones I see.
Yeah. Well, I'm just on a different level from y'all, man, because this is really horrible to me. This movie right here.
I found it somewhat pleasant.
I mean, that's fine. Again, no argument on my part right here. If that's what you found funny, then that's that is your sense of humor. Everybody sees something different in everything. It must have caught you on a good day, Martin, because there was a day I know you'd be looking at this and be like, wow, this is a piece of shit. I've seen you see movies like this and be like, wow, this is horrible. So it caught you on a good day. Movies like this never catch me on a good
all the time too.
What's that? Well, I can tell you right now.
All the time. We see stuff and it'll be something you like. I was like, yeah, but this other thing you hated. I was counting on you to hate this one too. You're like, no, man, I like this one. And I have to just chalk it up to like, okay, different day. Sometimes it catches you in a certain way that I didn't see. And that's how it goes.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, again, it's all a matter.
I do admit, like when it gets to around the third act or close to the climax, the end, it opens with this big public confession, and I was like, where'd this come from? Like everything else seemed like it was moving in a direction, and now this is just dropped in here from the movie package.
Well,
from the like,
yeah.
I have to wrap up the whole movie and confess to a bunch of people everything I've done. And I just so want to watch a movie where somebody's making a public confession and has somebody yell out, "We don't care," or "Who are you?" or "Get off the goddamn stage." So I always hate that kind of thing. And you know, it wraps up in a way where I was like, well, I'm not digging this so much. But prior to that, I was like, you know, I'm getting some laughs and chuckles here and there. I don't think it's good, but it is making me laugh, and that's the goal.
Yeah, I wish I could have been laughing, man. I really do.
No, me too.
No, listen, I'm not expecting you. Here's where I think there's a mix up sometimes. I'm not expecting you to like. I don't want you to like this or dislike it because I dislike it. You know, I don't want you to think like I do. I don't want you to. I'm not looking for allies. I'm not looking for anybody to partner up with me to team up on this movie. If you enjoy a movie, then that's the way it should be. If you enjoyed it, then that's great. You know, I'm just trying to. It's hard for me to express my dislike of this movie without seeming like I'm going against you, and I'm not.
I get it. No. I mean, you really, really didn't like it, and you've been very clear with the reasons, and I get it. Because
Yeah.
what you're saying, like so often with these movies, I do hate them. I mean, I usually hate them more than you do. It's just, and I don't know, maybe it's that hate I've built up to where I'm like, oh, they're gonna come in like this, and I'm gonna hate it. And because it was here, I was like, oh, well, all right. I thought you were gonna hurt me, but you just kind of smelling up the place a little bit. Just sit right there. We'll have a good time.
Well, also, and to Julian, I'm going to say this. Just because Kevin Hart does this all the time does not mean that there's an excuse to keep doing it worse. Kevin Hart maybe he does do this brand of comedy over and over again, but there are levels, of quality even within that. And him doing the same thing in this is a whole new low for me. I think this is one of his worst movies. Again, there have been movies with Kevin Hart doing this kind of thing, but they've had more story. They've had more structure. They've had a script. This is one of those movies, as I said, that doesn't have any of that and just totally relies on somebody who's gotten to the point of being so famous and such a draw that they just let them go in, and the movie relies on that. The movie relies on him bumbling and screaming. It's like when we talk about Melissa McCarthy, man.
I was just going to bring up that example because
Yeah.
what you're saying, I was like, I know exactly what you mean because we get tired of her doing the same thing.
Yeah.
When she does departure, we love it, but it does seem like, all right, that can't be the old thing you do, and now you do new stuff. You're back to doing that again.
Yeah.
No, I get.
There's a lot of comedians that do something, and those and they've gotten so popular that the movie just doesn't even try. The movie says, you know what, I'm gonna sit back, I might give you a little something to work with, but you just do your thing. Melissa McCarthy, Will Ferrell, a lot of people have now just given carte blanche to go in and just be fucking idiots in the film, which is fine, but when the movie itself stops trying and they just put the work on that comedian doing all this physical humor, that's where I don't like it, and especially when the humor is crass. And let me just say this too. It might sound like I'm hating on Kevin Hart. I am not. I like Kevin Hart a lot. In fact, I'm reading a book right now where the main character, I can't see anybody else but Kevin Hart being that character. And that movie, and that book's not even a comedy book. It's actually a mystery. And the character, while he does have some humorous parts in the movie, there's also a lot of drama. The character's a leading man. The character's charismatic. And the lines that are read in that book, I hear Kevin Hart's voice. I wish I could produce this movie because I would hire Kevin Hart in a minute to play that role. So it's not that I don't think Kevin Hart is not talented. I don't think he's not funny. It's not that at all. It's just that some movies, they're just a quick cash in for the producers, the studio, the director, and also the actor. This movie's a fucking cash in. As you know, he's just going in there. I can tell you, he went in there and didn't even know what the script was about. They just told him to go in there and direct a bunch of scenes. He did it, got his check. That's his business. That's what he's supposed to do. That's fine. But watching it from, my point of view, I'm just kind of like, wow, you talk about something that's thrown together. And that's my problem with this. I've been using the term dumb shit a lot with this movie. And, I want to flip that to let you know that, that's not exactly what I'm just relying on. This is a movie that doesn't work. It's a comedy that doesn't work because these are not even jokes. It's not even just humor. It's crass, childish humor strung together by not a story, but excuses. When I say excuses, I just an excuse to stick something up his ass, an excuse for him to run and fall down a cliff, an excuse for him to shit on something. It's a quick setup to do or say something for an easy laugh. And I probably wouldn't have a problem with that if the movie was PG-13, but it's rated R. And you too childish to have that fucking rated R. Rated R is supposed to be for mature. You supposed. Well, the reason why, because this is played it's played kind of like a family movie in a way.
Yeah.
I can see this being a PG-13 film, and a lot of the tone is of a PG-13 movie. And I could probably even see some of the nasty humor fitting that. But then they want to make it R just to get raunchy in some areas where it really doesn't seem to really need to be there. It doesn't need to do that. For example, the first 5 minutes, they make a big deal talking about donkey dicks and tripping over turtle turds. And it's like, all right, the turtle turds, I could see being a family movie, but why would you talk about donkey dicks in here? Again, why are we saying the word dicks at all? Oh, because it's just funny to say dicks. That's all. There's really no smart or intelligent or clever reason to be saying that. Not that I'm looking for smart, not that I'm looking for intelligent, but clever, just a little bit. Just for a purpose, just a little bit. I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, as you can tell, I'm not digging on this movie at all. Not having a sense of humor, not having a strong sense of humor with this movie. Like I said, it's just doing childish shit for the sake of doing it, man. And it works against what the movie wants to do. Because I think everybody wants to go along on this wacky adventure with these guys. But the thing is, in order to go along with them and relate to them and have fun with them, they had to be likable. And for me, these characters are pretty goddamn unlikable, man. They're not likable at all. Because the movie thinks having them do stupid things is funny by itself. Even when they're breaking the law, there's a moment where they go in and vandalize this man's house. There's a man's house that they go in and they just tear that shit up. I mean, and the whole time I'm looking at this and the movie's thinking like, hey, this is funny, isn't it? And I'm like, no, this is a fucking crime. I really can't stand these people, man. Now, it's like now I really can't relate to either of them. I couldn't relate to either of them, and I couldn't relate to any of them anyway because they were just, they're just human punching bags. But now I'm just kind of like, now they're fucking criminals. It's like, what's so funny about this shit? Biggest crime is that they have no chemistry together. Mark Whalberg and Kevin Hart, they got no chemistry together at all. It's one of these movies where it's like they tell you how I hate this with movies too, where they tell you how they're best friends.
They don't show you nothing.
And they don't show you nothing.
They have a montage of a really bad Photoshop.
Oh shit! And I got that montage too because I knew that. It's like, yeah, they've got no chemistry. All they do is tell you, hey, man, I know you since 5th grade, or man, you're my best friend, and ain't a clue there to let you know that they were friends whatsoever. No chemistry at all. If they're gonna do all this stupidity together, at least make them feel like they're just a little bit of friends. But just because you say that they're friends and show these bad photoshops at the beginning, that don't make them friends. And those photoshops are bad. Those photoshops are terrible, boy. I'm gonna show you. If y'all ain't seen the
Photoshops were part of the joke. It's so bad.
Ooh, if y'all ain't seen this movie, let me show you these photos. These photoshops are fucked up. Look at this. Look at this right here. Kevin Hart ain't even,
Yeah.
Kevin Hart is supposed, how short is he? They're not even the same size right there. You can tell that Mark Whalberg is shrunk. Their proportions are all off. Let me find another one here.
Stay at home on our phones, maybe for it.
Look at the lighting is all off right here. Mark Wahlberg's face is bright, and Kevin Hart's face is all ashy and everything. These photoshops are terrible. Look at this shit. You can tell that is not Mark Wahlberg's body, and that.
I know.
Boy, the contrast, the sharpness is even off on these two. A lot of these people just is blurry. He's just sharp as fuck. Man. I mean, that's another thing that adds to the movie, the cheapness of it, too. You could tell, and it's not cheap because they can't afford it. It's cheap because they just made it quickly. They just had to get it out there. That's why it's not written that well. That's why it looks cheap in a lot of parts. That flat lighting and everything, because they had, they just wanted to get it done. It was something that they just wanted to help and make them money. The movie lacks so much structure that they forget that Mark Whalberg is in the movie for a while. He leaves for about a good 15 minutes, and it's not even because I forgot that he was in the movie. The movie forgot that Mark Whalberg was in the movie. They just told him to go somewhere, and they tried to bring him back in and do a big speech later on. It's like, no, fuck that. You didn't even know he was here for a little while. You don't deserve to do no speech. That's another thing I don't like about this. I think you mentioned this, Martin, talking about how.
Yeah. I'm just gonna get it out. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got a lot of bending to do.
Yeah. I mean, listen, Martin, let me
making some sandwiches.
Making them more things than you go.
Yeah, the movie gonna do all this dumb shit. They ain't got no story that they follow. And they're gonna come back and have some big long speech about family and friends. It's like, you didn't earn that shit. Shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear that.
That was unearned. That was my least favorite thing in this movie.
And another thing. And again, don't act like I'm crazy here, because you even said yourself, you hate when movies do this. When they just bring out the random celebrity. Hey, I got so-and-so. Hey, I know so-and-so. I got him to play this party. What the fuck is Seal doing here? Seal don't even know what he's doing here. Look at him. Seal's watching the movie right now. What the fuck was I thinking?
Well, they did bring it along. They set it up early in the movie.
Yeah, and even then, I thought like, all right,
You might not like it, but they did set it up early in the movie.
they do that. No, they do that a lot in movies where and it's predictable. They say the person says, "Man, I really love this artist," and it's like, okay, they're gonna make a big cameo appearance at the end. It's like, all right, you did all that shit just to like set this up. And by the way, it's not very convincing or believable the way you even set it up. You know, I don't know, man. Listen,
I thought it was fine. I like that.
I mean, you act like I'm being out of line, Martin. You can like the movie, and I appreciate that, and I have nothing against that. But don't act like I'm being an asshole here. I'm not.
You're projecting. I never said you were being an asshole.
Okay, because you're looking at me like, oh shit, he's ranting and venting.
I never even intimated that. But you have been angrily going on for a while, and we haven't interrupted you. And you feel like it seems like you feel like not just some way about it, but a lot of way about it. And nobody's stepping on what you're saying.
Yeah, we letting you get it off your chest.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
No, guy. I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, you were right. I feel a certain way about this. I do, and that's just things that don't make sense in the movie. I mean, I'm telling y'all, I'm backing things up, and see you laughing because you think I'm just bringing up random shit. I'm not. I'm backing things up here.
We're not saying that. We know it's not random. Everything you're saying is in the movie. None of us are contradicting you, Korey.
I feel like your notes ended like 30 minutes ago. You just keep on going.
Oh no, my notes are just getting started here, baby. I got a lot. I got a list of things that don't make sense in the movie. You saw the trailer, and Martin's right. They pretty much showed you the whole film right here. Because I was looking at it, and I was like, I hadn't seen the trailer. Martin was like, damn, they just showed the whole movie. But I was surprised that they showed things in there like there's the part where the loan shark comes in and they have to break a finger. And of course, you know, they're not going to do it to Mark Whalberg, even though he's the one that owes the money. Kevin Hart, he has to be the fool again. His finger's the one that gets broken.
Oh my God! It looks like a hot Cheeto.
You know, the funny thing with that is that things that don't make sense in the movie. They break his finger in the movie, and a day later, he's playing the keyboard like it never happened.
Well, shit, they break his finger, and then after that scene, they never address it really. It's not even like it's broken. It's just like, all right, well, I mean, plus he got deep claw marks from that mountain lion. And they wrap him up at first, and then it never gets brought up again. All these injuries he's sustaining, they just go like, yeah, but that happened in the last scene though. He's fine now.
Yeah, that fool gets his finger smashed. Either they're playing keyboards with Seal like nothing ever happened. Martin is right. He gets scratched on the back. The mountain lion mauls his back.
Yeah,
and that fool, this motherfucker heals quicker than Wolverine, man. I don't know what's going on with him. Yeah, there's a part too where he's what you gonna say, Martin?
No, I was just saying you're absolutely right about that.
There's more in here where he's again, when movies are done so fast, they don't try to make sense out of anything, and maybe I shouldn't make sense out of it, but there's a part where he's actually trying to he's the head of the talent show, but he's directing the talent show like a school play. You know what I mean? It's like all the acts come on. He's like, no, that's no good. Try it again. It's like, isn't that the point to just let them come on and fail or get by on their own talent?
The whole talent show doesn't really make sense. Like they've been mentioning through the whole movie. You're like, okay, that's fine. But like I said, when it gets to that third act and they build everything around the talent show, I was like, you guys have made a huge mistake here. I've been on your side, and you're trying to alienate me. You should not do this, but it's too late now.
Yeah, it's just really they just have the talent show. So I think some executive's kid could come on and sing Hallelujah, or some agent is trying to push, because there's a talented kid in there, but he don't need his help. There's Kevin Hart moves in with a friend he just met like a day before. You know, if you see the movie, you'll see where all this stuff. It's not that I'm nitpicking because this is a movie. You know, I'm not looking for complete realism. What I do notice is that a lot of these things are flimsy because they're rushed. You know, if the movie was doing this just to hurry up and just connect one thing to another, and we had somewhat of a story here, that'd be fine. But that's not the case. Oh my God, things are just they're just moving from one thing quickly to another because hey, let's just get to the next Kevin Hart dumbass joke, or let's just get this movie over with. I will say this: I did like some people in the movie. I don't know why, but I like that kid in the movie. His son, who's played by Shay Tafari. Kid just kind of has. I like him because he just kind of has an old face. Like he looks like a man in a way, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I know. Even some of his speech patterns, the way he talks, he's like an old soul.
Yeah, you're right, Martin. Old soul. I was even beginning to wonder, like, is some orphan shit happening? It's like, is that dude really 35? And I like this. Is this guy a comedian, Martin? This guy, Andrew Santino?
I hadn't heard him before, but I'm thinking he must be because his comic timing was too good.
Yeah, I really like that guy, man. That guy was funny. Every time he was on.
He might be the guy who was on I'm Dying Up Here. Now that I think about it, because he looks so familiar, but that character on I'm Dying Up Here had red hair, but it was long. Yeah, I think that's probably him.
Okay, he's funny.
Yeah,
guy's very funny. Yeah, man. I liked him. I liked him a lot in the movie. So like I said, it's not like I'm trying to come in and just hate on this movie because I'm angry or because I just want to dislike it. It's not that. It's not that. I just don't think it's a very well put together movie. And I've always talked about how studios make cash grabs, and I think that this movie is a big cash grab. Again, I don't think there was any story really.
Well, what'd you give it?
Oh. I'll tell you what. Hey, why'd I leave you in suspense, son? I give it some bullshit, man. Some old bullshit.
I agree with you 90%.
Okay.
About everything that's wrong with this movie. That 10% that I don't agree with you is that I got laughs out of it. After it got past the beginning and up until it got to the third act, I was surprised by how much I was enjoying it. I wasn't having a great time, but I wasn't hating on it. I think back when I come to a Kevin Hart movie, especially when it starts bad like that, I think back to Kevin Hart movies like that one he made with Ice Cube.
It's Ride Along.
Ride Along,
Ride
yeah.
Along,
And that was really all about him being short and tossing him around, and it felt like they don't really have a script here. It's just all about Kevin Hart. As long as we got you out there, Kev, you just say whatever comes to your mind and you do what you do. It could have been worse, but also when it wasn't so focused on the jokes and the plot, just the stuff between him and his family and the people at school, I was like, you know what? Usually with something like this, they make everybody super obnoxious and they don't get it, and it's all a cartoon. And yet within all that, this is written by somebody who's lived the life and knows, and I could appreciate the jokes within the jokes that, if you haven't been there, you probably don't see, or you think, oh, it's not like that. Even to the point of going like, he's a bitch. I was like, yeah, well, I get, what he's doing and why he's doing it.
First of all, I did not say he's a bitch. First, let me just clear this up. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I just want to let it be known that I said that the movie was making that out like that. The movie makes a joke. Funny thing is, the movie tries to stand up for him being or make it look like it's a good thing with him being a house husband or a stay-home husband, but they make fun of it. That's why I said the movie insinuates that that's being a bitch. I did not. I actually think the movie did not handle that very well.
There's much better stuff to watch on Netflix, but there's also worse. To me, it's a rental.
All right. There you go, folks. Yeah, well, I got to be the villain here on this one. I'm sorry, y'all.
You ain't the villain. Yeah. I bet there's probably more people who agree with you.
I mean, I'm not looking for that. I'm just telling you. I'm only telling you what I went by. I want to see.
We can only express our own feelings.
Yes, and Marlon, you express the fuck out of those feelings.
Sure it is.